Early in the morning,
What's going on, people? It's your boy Cap, Topical Juice, and I'm back with another video. Hey, listen, as you can see, there's a little bit of a layout change for this video, car. I wanted to give it this news feel. I wanted to give it this different vibe. As you can see, I've got an ornament here for the desk. Big up my brother Alfie Butwell, large up you, yeah, he got this for me. It says, presented to Topical Juice for passing 10,000 subscribers, you know. Come on. He gave it to me when I was on 19,000, so literally I'm growing fast, you know. We're nearly on 20,000, so, but that's gonna stick, that's gonna be right here. So, listen, I've decided, yeah, I wanna add a different dimension to this channel. I wanna give you lot some history lessons as well. Now, I studied history at university. History is and always will be the most important subject we can learn. Now, there's going to be 99% of people in the audience are going to disagree with that. History's boring. Nah, it is the most important subject in the world. While I agree with you, what we learned at school and all that, King Charles and them, man, boring as fuck. I mean, I care about them, man. But proper history is extremely important. Real history is important. I mean, that's real history, but I mean, history is often distorted, fake. And the thing is about history, yeah, is that you can only fake it for so long. The truth always comes out of history. It always does. The thing is about history is you can see exactly where we are. You can see how we got to where we are. And most likely where we're going based on where we've been. It's so important. History is so important. And this idea came to me today. It came to me a good 20 minutes before I even started doing it. I barely even planned it. This is all coming from my noggin. I literally just saw my desk, I slapped it up, and I want to create a new segment. I'm going to call it Historical Juice. And in this year, we're going to be looking back at fake news. We're going to be looking at fake history and how it's shaped the world around us. It's all well and good me having certain knowledge and this, that, and the other about, or me commentating on certain things. But I've got a knowledge that I want to share with you lot. I did history. I can tell you stuff that you guys didn't know. And I'm starting that with today. I'm going to start by looking at 3 things here that have shaped the world around us. They're all completely random, separate things. But the reason why I've started this year and the reason why I'm doing this today is because I want to get you lot here, my audience, my supporters, people that watch me constantly and consistently. I want you lot to form the core of a new wave of ideas. Now, it's not a new wave of ideas really. Basically, my goal here is to get you lot to challenge. It's very important for me on an individual level, just personally, that we're not fucking sheep in this world. Too many people are sheep. Yes, sir. You know, sir. Oh, how high shall I jump, sir? Do you know what I'm saying? People don't challenge the status quo. People just believe that, oh, okay, if a doctor said, yeah, jump off a cliff, that will cure your cancer, we'll just believe it. If a mechanic said, it's going to cost me about 10 grand to fix it because I've got to open up the engine and this, that. In your mind, you're thinking, huh? I only busted my tail light. 10 grand? But, oh, you know what? The mechanic said it, so it must be true. Me, I ain't built like that. I'm not no sheep. I'm a leader, not a follower. As simple as that. I always challenge. Obviously, if something makes sense in my mind, I'll probably accept it. But if something's not really making sense in my mind, yeah, I'm gonna challenge it. It's just that simple. So anyway, enough for the chit chat. This is my introduction. This video is probably gonna be longer than all the others because I want to set the right expectations, set the tone, and give you an insight about what I want to do with this type of series, what I want to do with these type of videos. I'm not too sure how often I'm going to upload them. It could be once a week, it could be once a month. You understand? It might not. I might just do once every couple of months. Who knows? Let's get into it. Enough waffle, enough chit chat. The 3 things I'm going to look at today, yeah, in no particular order. I ain't even planned this. This is what I'm saying. In no particular order, is the history of milk, the history of the BMI scale, and finally the myth around Jesus, specifically his skin color. These are 3 very random, separate things that have a warped history, that have shaped the world around us and the way we think on nutrition, things like that, and all sorts of random stuff. I'm gonna get into it. So without whatever one, I don't even know what one to do first. I'll do Jesus. Let's talk about Jesus. So this myth about Jesus. First things first, Jesus was not white. That's simple. Now that it's crazy, you know. That's such a wild. That seems like such a wild statement to say, huh? Jesus was white, but churches, all the... Bro, first things first, Jesus was not white. Everything that I got taught in the Bibles when I was a kid, all the churches I was going to, where you're going on that beautiful stained, what you call it, glass. All the glass where you got this Jesus with long, light brown hair. Some depictions are blonde, in fact. Blonde Jesus, light brown hair Jesus, pointy nose, thin lips, light brown beard. That is all fake as shit. Complete lie. And it's mad, you know, that lie has shaped that like hundreds of years of the world around you. This is what people need to start understanding. Minor history changes like that. Well, it's not minor in the grand scheme of things, but a little tweak in skin tone it completely shapes the future. What's that saying about if you step on the butterfly effect? If you step on a butterfly, the world could end or something. Do you know what I'm saying? I know it's an exaggeration that you hear in all the movies, but this is the severity of the impact that our decisions can make, the consequences our decisions can make. Jesus was not white. His name's Jesus of Nazareth. He would have had like a tan skin color, dark hair, like a foot bigger nose. This is what he would have looked like. History has been Romanized. Thousands of years ago, well actually, in fact, before Christ and upwards of like 1,000 years ago, history's always been warped. Saint Augustine, one of the biggest theological minds or whatever, who created the modern religion, science, or whatever the hell it is, yeah. Saint Augustine, depicted as a white man. He hails from where? North Africa. North African he is. So some of the most influential figures in religion, yeah, weren't even white, that we're taught to believe. You're asking a question, I'm sure some of you might be asking, why would they do that then? Think, why would someone make something white when it wasn't white? The answer is obvious. It's funny, though, because a lot of people always say, oh, what's race got to do with this? What's race got to do with this? Oh, race hasn't got... In 2020 today, someone's commenting right now on a YouTube clip, on an Instagram clip, on a TikTok comment section, what's race got to do with... Brother, let me tell you something now, yeah. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, race has a lot to do with everything, you know. Why would you think that Romans would whitewash history? It's literally to do with racism. It's to do with, we think we're better than you. God has to be closer to our image. In what realm is Saint Augustine from North Africa going to be white? Or Jesus of Nazareth from a town called Galilee going to be white? That doesn't make any sense. But no one asks these questions, do they? We just accept the reality around us, because it's what we're taught. And this is what I want to drill into people. We were not born as humans into a vacuum. We were not plopped. I was born in 95. So I was not born in 95 and the world was just the world. Obviously the world around me was the world around me for myself, but the world wasn't designed that way. Everything around us is a product and a consequences of what has come before. Let that sink in. This table that I'm sitting on, this phone that I'm using, this plastic, it's all designed and it's an evolution of technology and history. It wasn't plonked that way. It's how the world's developed. Do you understand? This is the way you have to be thinking. So if this is all a consequence of how we've developed as technology, the world around us is a consequence of how the world has developed and things like that and what's happened in the world. Do you understand? So myth number one, Jesus was not white. Look at all the black people who are incredibly religious, who religion's a big part. If Jesus is meant to represent us and represent man, who does that represent? It doesn't represent my black brothers and sisters, does it? White Jesus is used to promote the image that white is best. It's that simple. This is fact. This is literally where this comes from. In stained glass, yeah, he is the purest form of white. Like pale white, pure. What does that do to the mentalities of people that don't look like that? That's gonna have a psychological effect that lasts generations, that lasts hundreds of years. Anyway, myth number one, busted. The second myth, how humanity and how society got pranked, got duped, got tricked into thinking that milk is a vital part of nutrition, healthy for healthy bones, strong bones. Pure cap, myth, fake news. And it's interesting when you look at the origin story of these narratives. Do you understand? You'd like to think, yeah, if this narrative around you is pushed from the moment you're born that, yeah, milk builds strong bones and this, that, you'd like to think that you just believe it because it's backed by science, not backed by corporations, money, government, agendas. There's always a why. Root cause analysis. Ask why. As far as lies and fake news, there's a lot worse in this world than milk, for example. Well, some would argue different, but racism, for instance, and like white Jesus is more impactful than milk. But the reason why I'm picking this one is because the same point applies. Fake news driven by government and corporate agendas equal societal norms, shall we say. In how many households is milk a staple part of the fridge? How many times did we hear growing up that carrots make you see it in the dark and milk builds strong bones and things like that? Milk building strong bones is pure fake. This calcium building strong bones is a myth. It's a lie driven by the dairy industry and governments, stemming back as far as the world wars. But obviously the world wars was before our time, so we weren't born then. So from my perspective, I was just born into a world, post-war world, where milk is convention. But I'll get into the history of it. Are you still following me though? Like, obviously the fact that I wasn't born, we were born in a post-war world. We were born in a post-war world where milk is the norm. But before the war, milk wasn't seen as the norm. So our reality and perception of milk would be different. Do you understand? This is some real high level thinking here. Like I'm not saying that I'm just a high level guy, but it's when I mean high level, it's not your basic on the surface. You really have to dig deep and think why and ask questions and challenge. What you need to understand here about misconceptions in life, it all comes down to marketing. How you market a product is literally determines how it sells. I know all about this from the fitness industry. I was getting fooled by weight loss pills at 16, 17. Take these pills for 30 days, you'll cut all your weight loss, and because all my favorite fitness stars are doing it and this, that. Yeah, I was getting finessed by marketing. It's all lies. How you lose weight is calories in versus calories out. Healthy eating, balanced lifestyle, and exercise and burning more calories than you consume. That's the simple formula. But I'm getting finessed by weight loss pill here and this there, supplement here. It's all down to marketing. That is no different when it comes to the marketing of milk. Milk was exactly the same thing. Orange juice, apple juice, milk, they all got marketed as something that we don't really need to question, something that's part of a balanced health diet. But where does that come from? Your boy Dr. Historian Juice is about to tell you. So since the beginning of the century, we've had milk in schools and milk in carton form and things like that. And the reason why that is here is because during World War II, we basically needed to boost the production of processed milk in order to send more to soldiers. We made it part of the natural school diet. Ask the question, why did we do that? Because we needed to manufacture more and produce more for soldiers. That's why. In order to produce more for soldiers, you need to make it more marketable, essentially. You need to create a demand for it. In order to create a demand for it, they marketed it as healthy for your bones, to help you grow. That way, they could put it in schools, so you have cartons in schools, which I had in schools up until, you know what I'm saying, that I had in schools, yeah, just so they could produce more for war soldiers. That is your history of milk. That is how milk became a staple part of our diet and that we need it. You do not need milk in your household for strong bones. In fact, I'm not going to go into the detail, but in fact, there's studies that suggest that I think it was 96,000 people, women, I think it was, that took milk over a certain time. In fact, their bones, they were suffering more fractures as they got older. Do you understand? The point of this video here is that no other YouTuber is going to be doing videos like this, because this video is not even going to get that many views. But this part of my channel is going to eventually grow. The bigger I get, the bigger this gets, and you lot are going to start challenging the things around you. And they're going to start questioning the realities around you. Now, this is something I read a couple years ago that I completely forgot about and I came across on Twitter. This is the final thing I want to talk about, the BMI scale. The BMI scale. This scale here is like backed by science as the absolute method of health. The BMI scale stands for body mass index, and it's basically used to measure one's fat, muscle, height, all that stuff to determine whether one is overweight, underweight, obese, and things like that. Yeah, this is what we're taught at school. I remember at school the embarrassment of being overweight at school in front of the whole class. The BMI scale is fake. The person who invented the BMI scale as quote unquote saying this should not be used to measure health. Do you know what it's used for? Eugenics. Do you know what eugenics is? It's a study of looking at different races and how races differ. So more specifically, how black people are animals, basically. Eugenics is the science where you look at the skull of black people, the skull of different races, and looking at the skull determines their intelligence and how much of an animal they are. Eugenics, was a big part of science in the 1800s, early 1900s. It shaped modern science. Modern science is backed and originated in racism. The same way capitalism in America stems and originates from slavery, racism. The BMI scale is not at all got to do anything to do with health. The person who invented it has said that himself, but yet what we're taught in science to this day is literally wrong. Like, this is what I'm saying. The world around you is flawed. It's flawed. So how can I respect the world around me? How can I follow all these laws and listen to all these governments when they say this, that, and the other? When I know, because I've actually done the education, I've done the reading, I know how flawed the world around us actually is. I'm just gonna read something off the screen here. The BMI scale was invented by a racist mathematician, not a doctor. Nothing to do with science. Maths, not science. For the purpose of eugenics, which I've just mentioned myself, and he himself even later admitted that it was not a representation of health. I'm just going to read something from this article. Initially called Quetelet's Index, Quetelet derived the formula based solely on the size and measurements of French and Scottish participants. That is, the index was derived exclusively by and for white Western Europeans. This is fact. By the turn of the next century, Quetelet's Index would be used as a measurement of fitness to parent and as a scientific justification for eugenics. The systemic sterilization of disabled people, autistic people, immigrants, poor people, and people of color. While Quetelet's work was used to justify scientific racism for decades to come, he was clear about one aspect of the BMI. It was never intended as a measure of individual body fat, build, or health. For its inventor, the BMI was a way of measuring populations, not individuals. And it was designed for the purpose of statistics, not individual health. I've already told you what I want you to draw from the video like this. I'm going to leave you with some homework. Look at the three things that we've looked at historically. The representation of Jesus and the effect that's had on centuries to come. Milk, the simple history of milk and how it's become a staple part of one's diet, a healthy diet, and the reason where that came from. Yeah, and finally, the invention of the BMI, something that is used in schools to this day, something that is backed by doctors. All those doctors that you would listen to right now in Queen Elizabeth, in Woolwich, or Guy's Hospital in London Bridge, where your boy was born. Big up my Guy's gang. But you know what I'm saying? All those doctors there, they'll be using that same BMI standard. I wonder what the effects that has on medicine and how that's infiltrated the science industry and medicine and race and things like that. We look at the similarities between them and how they've affected the world around you, the world around us, the world, not just the country, the world. As I said, you won't ever get there ain't no other YouTubers talking this shit. So I really appreciate it if you share this for me. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Post on social media. Tag me in it. Tag me on Instagram. Hit me on Instagram. This is real shit. Real. When I speak stuff, I speak fact. Yeah, obviously, there's going to be when I do some gossipy shit, sometimes there's going to be stuff where it's not facts and it's speculation. I hold my hands up. But when I deal with stuff like this, I don't speak air. I'm only talking about what we do know. This is a longer video today. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find value in real history. And I'll see you soon. Peace.